In one of the biggest corporate scandals in history, Volkswagen, VW, a globally respected automotive giant, was caught in a massive deception that shook the world. The company, known for its precision engineering and trusted German craftsmanship, deliberately cheated emissions tests for its diesel vehicles, misleading regulators, consumers, and environmentalists alike. This deception, now widely known as Dieselgate, led to billions in fines, massive recalls, and an irreversible stain on Volkswagen's reputation. But how did one of the world's most successful car companies find itself in the middle of such an egregious lie? What were the consequences, and how did Volkswagen attempt to recover from this scandal? This video takes a deep dive into the Volkswagen emissions scandal, unraveling how the company deceived the world and how it eventually got caught. Volkswagen has long been a household name in the automotive industry. Founded in 1937, the company gained international recognition with iconic models like the Beetle and the Golf. By the early 2000s, VW had set its sights on dominating the global car market, particularly in the United States. To expand its market share, Volkswagen aggressively pushed diesel engines as an alternative to gasoline-powered cars. Diesel vehicles were marketed as fuel-efficient, durable, and most importantly, environmentally friendly. The company promised consumers a cleaner alternative that reduced carbon emissions while maintaining excellent performance. VW's success in the diesel market relied on one crucial factor: passing stringent environmental regulations, particularly in the United States, where emission standards were much stricter than in Europe. This is where the deception began. In 2009, Volkswagen introduced its new clean diesel vehicles, boasting that they met environmental standards without sacrificing power or efficiency. The company heavily marketed these cars, convincing millions of buyers that they were driving an eco-friendly alternative. However, behind the scenes, Volkswagen engineers had developed a sophisticated software known as a defeat device. This software was designed to detect when a vehicle was undergoing emissions testing and temporarily alter engine performance to reduce nitrogen oxide, NOx, emissions to compliant levels. During real-world driving conditions, however, the defeat device would deactivate, allowing the engine to emit up to 40 times the legal limit of NOx, one of the primary contributors to air pollution and respiratory diseases. In essence, Volkswagen had created a dual-mode engine, one for testing and one for actual driving, deceiving regulators and consumers alike. For years, Volkswagen managed to hide its emissions, cheating from regulators. However, in 2014, a small group of researchers from West Virginia University's Center for Alternative Fuels, Engines and Emissions, KFE, conducted independent emissions tests on several diesel vehicles, including Volkswagen's models. The results were shocking. The cars emitted vastly higher levels of NOx than legally allowed. The researchers published their findings, which eventually caught the attention of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the California Air Resources Board, CARB. After months of pressure, Volkswagen finally admitted in September 2015 that it had installed the defeat devices in approximately 11 million vehicles worldwide. The revelation sent shockwaves through the automotive industry and marked the beginning of a massive corporate crisis for Volkswagen. Once Volkswagen's deception was exposed, the consequences were swift and severe. Massive fines and legal actions. Volkswagen faced billions of dollars in fines and settlements globally. In the United States alone, the company agreed to pay over $25 billion in fines, vehicle buybacks, and compensation to affected consumers. Global recalls. The company was forced to recall millions of vehicles equipped with the defeat device, causing a logistical nightmare and further damaging its reputation. Owners were offered buybacks or vehicle modifications, though many consumers remained distrustful of the brand. Criminal charges and executives sent to jail. Several high-ranking Volkswagen executives were indicted, including former CEO Martin Winterkorn and Volkswagen's U.S. executive Oliver Schmidt, who was sentenced to 7 years in prison for his role in covering up the scandal. Plummeting stock prices and lost consumer trust. Volkswagen's stock price plunged by nearly 40% in the immediate aftermath of the scandal. While the company has since rebounded, many consumers and environmentalists continue to view Volkswagen with skepticism. After the scandal, Volkswagen faced an enormous challenge: how to rebuild its reputation and regain the trust of its customers. The company took several measures to recover, shifting focus to electric vehicles, EVs. In an attempt to distance itself from Dieselgate, Volkswagen announced an ambitious plan to become a global leader in electric vehicles. The company pledged to invest billions into EV development, with the goal of becoming fully carbon neutral by 2050. Increased transparency and compliance measures. Volkswagen implemented stricter compliance programs to prevent similar scandals from occurring in the future. The company also hired an independent compliance officer to oversee ethical business practices, apologies, and marketing campaigns. Volkswagen launched numerous advertising campaigns to apologize for the scandal and reassure consumers that it had changed its ways. However, regaining public trust proved to be an uphill battle. Volkswagen's scandal had ripple effects throughout the entire auto industry. Stricter emissions testing. Governments worldwide introduced more rigorous emissions testing procedures to prevent similar cheating. Regulatory crackdowns. Automakers faced increased scrutiny, leading to additional investigations into emissions fraud by companies such as Fiat Chrysler and Daimler. Acceleration of EV adoption. The scandal helped push governments and consumers toward electric vehicles, reducing reliance on diesel cars altogether. Volkswagen's emissions scandal is a stark reminder of what happens when corporate greed outweighs ethical responsibility. The company's deception not only cost it billions of dollars, but also led to significant environmental and health consequences. While Volkswagen has since pivoted toward a greener future, the Dieselgate scandal remains a permanent stain on its legacy. The scandal serves as a lesson to businesses worldwide. Deception may lead to short-term gains, but in the long run, the truth always comes out. As the automotive industry moves toward electric mobility, Volkswagen is trying to rewrite its future. However, the Dieselgate scandal will always be remembered as one of the most shocking corporate frauds in history. Ultimately, the Volkswagen emissions scandal teaches us that honesty, transparency, and accountability are crucial, not just for businesses, but for the health of the planet and its people.